Good evening and thank you for joining us. First at 5 tonight, sexual assault has been a heavily debated issue this week in our state. The latest on the controversy surrounding a Dothan Middle School. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm MaryLee.Adams. Tonight, a News 18 exclusive. A search warrant executed on Friday at Honeysuckle Middle School in Dothan hasn't garnered much response from the city school system. No one has publicly commented on why records were seized. Breaking news tonight, a residential shooting in Enterprise leaves one dead and a suspect on the run. That's until this afternoon, where a standoff took place between the suspect and multiple law enforcement agencies. We first told you about a tragedy out of Houston County last night, where a young man was transported to South Alabama Medical Center after being struck by lightning. Emergency personnel blocking intersections along the way ahead of the ambulance due to the urgency of the situation. Sadly, he was pronounced dead later in the evening. We're still in the process of reading through it all ourselves. In the document, it states Governor Bentley became obsessed with the existence of the tapes and was relentless in his desire to prevent them from being released to the public. Bentley has been adamant that he had no physical relationship with his former special advisor. We've looked at the text messages between the two. We showed them to some voters and they're not buying it. Alan Carter with more. Keeping it local in Dothan, today the Houston County Commission voted 3-2 today to pay $75,000 for traffic improvements for a new Chick-fil-A on Ross Clark Circle.
We're talking about that big Powerball jackpot.
Woo! Our Courtney Chandler is with us tonight with reaction from people testing their luck, and no surprise here, many are from Alabama, one of a handful of states that still does not have a lottery. Courtney, good evening. You feeling lucky? They call Media Days the unofficial start to football season. Well, Alabama fans, you're in luck because the Crimson Tide were in the house. Tonight is the College Football National Championship, Alabama versus Clemson in a rematch. The oldest rivalry in the Wiregrass. This is the 87th time that these two teams will meet. They're not out warming up just yet. I'm going to have an update coming up at 6 o'clock in sports, but a lot of eyes tonight are going to be on this Jumbotron behind me. I'm going to step out of the frame right now and kind of do a little camera work so you all can see what I'm seeing, this masterpiece. This is the first Jumbotron in the area and one of the first in the state. So I'm going to zoom in right now so you all can see. Many people take their senses for granted: sight, smell, and sound. Not something that you have to think about very often. But what if you played varsity basketball and football and couldn't hear a thing? Take a look.
I can't hear anything. I can't hear the fans. I can't hear the coach. I got to look over at the coach, call the plays. I can't hear anything.
Meet Blaze Van Hoos, a senior at Slocum High who plays varsity basketball and football. Blaze was born with degenerative hearing loss, but doesn't let that get in the way of doing what he loves.
Because of his hearing aids are so expensive, his family has to pay for them, and they can break easily. So he can wear them around during the day, but not during activity or athletics.
A humble, hardworking student-athlete who never used his hearing loss as an excuse. In fact, many of his coaches didn't even know.
His mom was the first one that told me. And she said, you know, have you noticed anything? And
He didn't tell me that he had. It was another player told me.
the biggest thing about Blaze, when I found that out, I said, man, I would never know it. He's always, he's one of the guys that the other guys look up to.
When Blaze is on the field, he has to rely solely on hand signals, eye contact, and his instincts.
There was one time when I scored my only touchdown. Didn't even know the play. I just ran around and I happened to be wide open. And the quarterback threw it to me. Touchdown.
Blaze was a team captain and a regional finalist for the prestigious Bryant Jordan Award for overcoming adversity, being recognized out of 150,000 athletes. So what's next for this trailblazer?
Well, I want to learn sign language because I think I'm going to get worse over time. It's getting worse over time, so I'm trying to learn sign language.
Blaze would be a great role model for any kid, hearing loss, or, just someone who's your standard student.
Whatever Blaze chooses to do, he's going to be great at. He's just that guy. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't want attention, and he will just do whatever you ask him to do. He is probably, I've been doing this for 14 years, and he's one of the best kids I've ever been around in my entire life.
Oh, no, I just try not to let it get in my way.
Sometimes football is more than just about the game. It's about the friendships that form from that game. In this case, an inseparable bond from an unlikely trio, two are brothers, and the third happens to be autistic.
Good friends.
Twins Logan and Lucas Clayton had no trouble describing their good friend of 11 years, Damian Franks.
Loving, caring, very fun. He's funny, and he has a good character. He's always asking someone if they're all right, always asking how their day was. He's just a good person.
A friendship that's centered around football, as Logan plays on the team and Lucas did until this fall when he decided to pursue youth ministry. Damien is the team manager and certified MVP, but his love of the sport runs in the family.
I went to a Tennessee game with my daddy, and I knew him, and he played football.
Football is what brought them together, but their bond goes well beyond the field. And with the twins graduating and Damien being a freshman, they wanted to do something to show Damien just how special he is to them. So in front of a packed crowd on senior night, Logan surprised Damien with his Letterman jacket.
I've always treated him like he was my brother. So, I mean, whenever someone asks who that is, I just say he's my brother.
A selfless gesture that meant so much, but the gift Damien has given them is priceless.
Oh, it means the world to me. To know that somebody like him really looks up to me, and to know that I'm there for him is pretty great. Whenever I was younger, I normally didn't hang out with people like that, but knowing Damien, I learned not to judge a book by its cover pretty much, and once you start to know him, he's a very different person. He's very nice, genuine, and funny.
We'll be friends for a while.
I'm sure they will. Logan and Lucas told me they plan to come back next year to the games to help Damien in any way they can.